April 20th, 2015, and the news out of Philadelphia is that the Eagles are signing Tim Tebow. So the Philadelphia Eagles, Chip Kelly, he's made some crazy moves so far this offseason, signing DeMarco Murray, also trading Nick Foles for Sam Bradford, and now signing Tim Tebow, who's going to be behind Bradford and Mark Sanchez on the Eagles depth chart. At least that's what it looks like. Of course, he's going to be fighting for a position on the team, so it's not a sure thing that he's even going to make the team, but he will be there for the first workouts with the Eagles here in the off season, as that's going to be coming up this week. So Tim Tebow is going to be practicing with the Eagles, fighting for a roster spot, and I have to say, personally, I applaud Chip Kelly for making these outside-the-box decisions. If anything else, at least it gives us something to talk about. But it's interesting to see what he's doing there. He's trying different things, and you got to applaud somebody who's willing to take some risks and willing to think outside the box. A lot of time the NFL is a copycat league. It's a league where people just copy the recipe for success from the last year's Super Bowl winner and try to just replicate that. But the thing is, if you notice year in, year out, it's usually the teams that have their own vision, their own, strategy, their own culture that actually win the Super Bowl. As you've seen, the past two winners, with Seattle 2 years ago, the Patriots this past year, they're teams that build up their teams, build up their culture, and they play the way that they play. They don't copy other teams. Of course, everyone copies everyone to a certain extent. I mean, that's just the nature of the game, but you got to put your own twist on it, and Chip Kelly definitely has his own vision. He definitely has his own twist on the way he sees the game of football and the way he approaches it. Like I said, you got to applaud him for that. If anything, it's definitely going to be entertaining to see how the Eagles play out, and definitely excited to watch Philadelphia play in the upcoming season, which they're actually going to be revealing the schedule tomorrow on April 21st. So we'll be coming at you with some news on that, and the draft is coming up here later this month, so watch out for that as well. Like I said, Tim Tebow signed with the Eagles. I think it's a good move by Chip Kelly. I'm a Tim Tebow fan. I know a lot of people, they down on Tebow. Personally, I read his book, and actually from reading his book, I really think, that Tim Tebow is underrated. He's also unfairly villainized just for why, because he's got a good character. I mean, he's not necessarily a guy that you want to go out and have a beer with, but he is the kind of guy that I think you want on your football team. He's a hard worker, he's dedicated, and he's a winner. He's won at every level he's played at. He won in high school, he won in college, and he even won in the NFL in the postseason. It might not have been pretty, but he did get the W, and that's what really matters at the end of the day. So will Tim Tebow end up, getting on the field with the Eagles? Only time will tell. But I definitely think that Tim Tebow has a lot of talent, and I've believed for a long time that if there was a coach out there that was willing to give him a chance, that Tim Tebow could take a team all the way to the Super Bowl and win it. I know that's a pretty bold statement. A lot of people might think I'm crazy for saying that, but the guy's a winner. And he, regardless, of his accuracy when it comes to throwing, which is a very important thing for a quarterback, he might not be the most accurate, but he has heart. He believes in himself, and he makes other people around him believe in themselves and in him, and that brings a team together. He's a natural leader, and that's what you need as the general on the football field at quarterback, a guy like that. The other things, obviously, if he was a better, more accurate quarterback, he'd already be a starter on some NFL teams. So, he's got some stuff to work on, but we've seen plenty of times in the NFL, guys, that might not have been out the gate the best player, but over the time, as long as they stay dedicated, they work hard, they could get there. One name that comes to mind, Rich Gannon with the Raiders more than a decade ago. They might not have won the Super Bowl, but he got them there, and this is a guy who's a journeyman at that point. And this is something that's happened before. Even Steve Young, he sat for a long time behind Joe Montana, even behind Steve DeBerg back when he was in Tampa Bay. A lot of people don't know that. But this is the thing, not everybody comes out the gate like Andrew Luck. And the thing is, if you look at, historically speaking, guys that come out the gate strong, say Dan Marino, his rookie year, went to the Super Bowl, lost, never went back. So it's not necessarily all about being the most talented, the most skillful, being the most accurate. there's something else that can't necessarily be quantified with stats, and that's something that Tim Tebow does have. So I applaud Chip Kelly for giving Tim Tebow the chance. We saw before, Bill Belichick was interested in him too. He just didn't have the spot for him. And I always thought that eventually he would get another chance with the Patriots. And right here, Chip Kelly, this could be a stepping stone. Or maybe if he gets the chance in Philadelphia, which he just might, especially when you consider that Bradford, we hope he can be healthy. We really want to see Bradford get to a full NFL season healthy, because he's very talented. But with his history of injuries, there's a very strong possibility that Sanchez will end up on the field. And then with Mark Sanchez, is a guy who's hit or miss. He's had a lot of success, but he's also, had some tough times. And he's also, been on the bench and been benched. So that means that the possibility is open for Tim Tebow to get on the field in 2015 and show where he's gotten to at this point, because he's still been working hard, he's still been training hard. Even though he hasn't been in the NFL, he's still been dedicated towards returning and being an NFL quarterback. And a guy that works that hard and is that determined, you gotta root for him in my book. And we'll see, where he's at, or and he's humble enough to take any position they give him. So it'll be interesting to see how things develop. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Let me know if you like Tim Tebow, if you hate Tim Tebow. He's a very polarizing figure. Let me know if you think it was a good idea for Chip Kelly to pick him up or not. And also, feel free to leave any more comments about other things Chip Kelly has done in this off season. Thank you very much for listening. It is greatly appreciated. Go ahead and subscribe if you're still listening, because, hey, if you're still listening at this point, you might as well subscribe, because we're going to be bringing you some more content such as this in the very near future. Once again, thank you for listening. It is appreciated. Hope you're having a good day. And it's the beginning of the week, but have a good week and then a good weekend if you don't hear back from me, which you should, because I'll be coming out with more stuff about the schedule. But enjoy all the sports. There's playoffs going on right now, NHL and NBA, so make sure to check those out as well. Those are very exciting.